So I guess we're going to attempt to do a gear video and talk a little bit about the just stats from our trip and what we had in the end, what we liked, didn't like. Most of our gear we liked. I think there was very little that we were not happy with that we had purchased.
Yeah, pretty much pleased with everything. We really didn't ditch anything.
We traded out because of the weather, but not in season, but not because we didn't like the item.
Yeah. Big three. We had the Z-Packs tent. These Z-Packs tent are great. No complaints about them at all. Stayed dry, super light. Don't buy the one-man tents, the Z-Packs. They are terrible. Everybody in the trail that had one hated them. They're just a miserable design. Duplexes and the triplexes, really good tents.
Even people that were hiking solo preferred the duplex because it also gave them that little bit extra room to keep their backpack and gear all inside with them.
Yep, and we had the triplex, which was nice for the two of us. And one thing we found out that worked good, you use your trekking poles to hold the tent up, and then at night we would take a carabiner and hang our packs off of our strap from the pole that was holding the tent up. So it would keep your pack off the ground and outside. It was in the vestibule. Really worked nice. Trekking poles, just REI, aluminum poles. No complaints about them as well.
It just so happened that I liked hiking with them the length that they needed to be for the tent, so that worked out well. We didn't have to keep adjusting them every day. We also, because of weather, because it got hot, we switched to a 50-degree bag, and the brand is Nearly Zero. We were really happy with these and glad that we switched out.
Yep. Just inexpensive bags we bought on Amazon, nothing special.
We had debated about leaving our fleece liners home, but there were while we were home that last week, there were a number of hikers we were following that were talking about how cool the nights got, so we opted to take these with us. We didn't use them a whole lot, but there were some nights that we were glad to have them.
In Maine, we used them more. Yeah.
They were worth, they don't weigh that much, and so for us it was worth the extra weight.
Yeah, worth the extra security of having it.
Yeah. So. And we each had a Sea to Summit pillow. Mine was a little bit smaller than Al's, but we liked them.
Really nice pillows. Yep. And also for sleeping, we had, since we went out early, we had the Neo Air X Therms, the one that had the better insulation R value because it was cold at first. Super comfortable pads. Things are not cheap, they're kind of pricey, but to get a good night's sleep on the trail, these things are well worth it. Come with a pump sack to blow them up, so you're not sitting there blowing your lungs out every night and getting a head rush. So really nice.
One thing I did have, my pump sack, the seams came apart. Al's did not. So toward the end, I was ending up blowing mine up with my mouth and my own air just because.
Or using mine.
Or using Al's.
Yeah. So. We had kind of a variety of dry bags. I had my sleeping bag and fleece liner in here. I had another dry bag for my clothes.
I opted not to use dry bags, and I used compactor bag and was happy. I didn't separate mine out. Like, I had one compactor bag, my clothes, my sleeping bag, pillow, liner, everything went in that one bag.
I prefer to have multiple. It just seemed more organized than me to be able to separate things within my pack. So, stove, we had a MSR.
Pocket Rocket.
Yeah, really nice, small, lightweight, and a Tokes 700 milliliter titanium pot.
And unless we were doing ramen noodles, we only boiled water in our pot. So
yeah, we basically never cooked in there, so you didn't have to clean up. Z-seats.
This was one thing we actually thought about not purchasing.
Yeah, almost didn't take them along, but
we used them all the time.
Super handy. Definitely, this is a must.
The thing that we found out the most was they were nice to lay outside your tent at night, because when you're crawling out of your tent in the morning, your legs don't always want to function immediately, and it was an extra protect you from just dirt. And
just
if it was wet.
Even at night, take your shoes off. You can stand on this with your stocking feet while you're getting your Crocs on or getting in and out of the tent. And then whenever you take a break, there's a dry, soft place to set. Mm-hmm. Super nice, light, doesn't weigh anything.
What did you think about your hat? This was something new Al purchased when we went back.
Rarely wore it. I rarely wear a hat in the summer. It's hot. The only time I basically wore it was when it was raining, just to keep the rain from running down your face. Other than that,
yeah, I would say I took a ball cap along, wore it maybe one time. Wished I would have just left it home. It was just something to carry. but I don't normally wear caps.
We thought we would like them for. We thought we would wear a bug net more, and it would keep the bug net off your face. The bill would, but I never wore a bug net at all. You wore one.
I wore one a couple times, but I didn't feel like I needed the brim to keep it away from my face.
Yeah. As far as the charging went, we just had the anchors. I think these are 20,000.
They are.
Milliliter anchor packs. Heavy, but really no other option.
I only ran out of battery one time, and that was when we went 6 days before we got in town to recharge. Because I had to do, since we were filming with my phone, I had to charge it every single night. Al didn't have to charge his phone always.
Or if I charged, it wasn't as depleted as hers was. So we each carry one of these. Yeah, it's a necessity if you want a phone on the trail.
So one thing I guess we could say a little bit, different people said, oh, you need to get the really long cord. We actually found this was more frustrating than helpful. Yeah. We never had a time where we had to have like a long stretch to get. And so it was just constantly, we had all this extra cord we had to deal with our phones. So
especially in the tent at night trying to charge your stuff, it just seemed like it was in the way all the time.
So I would say if there was anything we were unhappy with our choice, it was probably this cord.
We did carry the Garmin the whole way. And I guess it was all right. I mean, we'd send a text to Sandra's parents and then our daughter. So it got both sides of the family. We just send a preset text at camp and safe every night. I don't know.
We never had to SOS out. So
we never did. I guess it was worth something for that. Yeah. But the money you pay for these Garmins, they're not that great, I'll be honest with you. I mean, they would get a signal out, but not very quick. I mean, there was some nights we were in the Smokies. It took 12 hours to get a message out. I mean, if you had SOS, you'd be dead by that time. So, anyways, and they sucker you in like everybody else does. It's supposed to be a $14, I think, or $15 basic plan. Time they throw other fees on, it's $35. So, I mean, they basically double the price on you.
So one thing that we are so glad Al did was that he did these straws with the Sawyer tubing. They were really handy. I carried mine on an aqua clip. And Al had the Z-Packs water bottle holder. The difference is just the way men and women are built. If I would have had the water bottle holder because of the way my straps had to go, it would have been under my armpit all the time. So this allowed, with the water clip, it allowed the water bottle to hang free and not be against the bottom, against my body at an odd angle. Mm-hmm. The problem that I did have with these is sometimes when we were climbing, if I would hit rocks or something, it would pop it off and my water bottle would go rolling.
It was not near secure.
Right, whereas Al never had that trouble with his water bottle.
Yep. Lastly, I guess, is our packs. This is a Z-Packs Art Blast 55 liter. And
I would buy it all over again.
Happy with the packs.
The only thing that did not hold up was like the hip belt pockets where they're attached. By the end, those were fraying and coming loose, but everything else on it held up really well. I would say it got less water resistant because they say they're water resistant, not waterproof.
Right.
It got less water resistant the longer we went.
Yeah, it did. Some of that was, it was all weight loss. I mean, at the end, you can buy the hip belts in different sizes. We opted for the medium. We knew it was going to be close if we lost weight. And by the time we finished, we were cinched straight up. And I mean, ideally with a pack, you're carrying 90% of the weight on your hip belt. And we weren't able to do that because the hip belt was riding down past our hips and we were carrying a lot of weight on our shoulders, which is uncomfortable. Yeah. Not the pack's fault. It's just, yeah.
Their hip belts come in, like they'll say, from whatever inches to. We could have even started with the small and had it maxed at the biggest, and we wish now we would have just done that. So my recommendation is, if you we ordered the medium because we were kind of like halfway in between the numbers of inches. Mm-hmm. We should have went with that small to start with.
One thing with these packs, they're designed for ultralight. I mean, ideally this is a 25-pound carrying capacity pack max, and we were way over that
in the beginning. Even at the end,
even at the end, time it was better. But by the time we had 3 or 4 days worth of food and water, we were probably upper 20s. You know, so we were pushing it, and you couldn't do a good job of arcing the, you're supposed to be able to arc this and get the pack off your back so there's an airspace, but we weren't able to do that very well because of the weight we were carrying. But we were happy with them. Basically, the only pack that's worth buying in a store is Osprey, I would say.
And that's from talking to other hikers and watching their experience.
The problem is, all these other good quality, worthwhile packs that you buy are all cottage industry packs, which is fine. ULA, ultralight, hyperlight, light AF, Z packs. The problem is you can't try any of these packs on. They have no store. They have no brick and mortar stores. So all you're doing is taking people's opinion. You're dropping $400 or whatever on a pack, and you hope it suits you well. I mean, I guess if you have the time, and I kind of regret the fact that we didn't do that, your best option would be to go to trail days, because all these vendors set up at trail days. You can climb inside the tents, you can try the packs on, walk around with them, and that's basically the only place you can do that at, because it's online only for all these good quality packs. So it's just kind of a guessing game. We had no quality issues with the Z packs, but there was a lot of complaints from people at the end of the trail that bought packs this year that were coming apart. I hope Z packs isn't skimping on their quality. I hope they don't come to that. I mean, their company is growing, so I hope they don't.
I think they're growing so rapidly that it's hard for them to find people to sew and do the things that are to the standard of quality they had.
Yeah, hopefully they don't get a bad reputation, because we were happy with ours.
We really liked ours.
Yeah, we were.
The one other thing I would say is we did the second time we went out, we took the minimalist rain jacket with us, not the pants. We just took the rain jacket.
Yep, the marmots.
And we took our puffies. We could have left our puffies at home.
We could have.
We wore a rain jacket more than our puffies for warmth. Because this blocked wind, it kept you warm, kept you semi-dry.
And it was accessible. We would keep them in the mesh part of our pack in the back. Your puffy, you want to keep it dry, so that was always buried in a dry bag. We would just throw our raincoats back here. We'd grab them in the morning if we were chilly, hike a little bit, stuff them back in there. They were just accessible.
Our puffies we only wore a few times at night when it was like really cold in the beginning. And we took them with us the second half, and
I wore mine
maybe once
when we were in the dungeon that night. That's the only time I had it on for a little bit. I didn't sleep with it, so yeah.
So looking back, we probably would have left our puffies at home had we known. Now other years we had a really warm year. I know other years.
Beginning, it was chilly. We had a chilly spring this spring.
Well, so. Meaning when we went back.
Oh, second half.
The second half. Yeah. For New Hampshire and Maine, from what we've been told, we had pretty warm weather, and so we didn't need that warmer gear.
We had the Black Diamond headlamps. Liked them. Probably the only thing I would do different is probably get a rechargeable battery. We had the ones that take the 3 AAAs.
Yeah.
Sanders went dead on her when we were toward the end of the trail, and we were trying to hike those early mornings.
And yours was?
Mine was right on the verge. It was getting pretty dim. So if you got a rechargeable, you can just throw it in your anchor, and you got good battery again. So that's the only thing I would do different about that. Some stats we got. Sanders. Can't think of what her name was. Told us about that app. Flutterby told us about an app. What was it called?
AT Hiker.
AT Hiker app, where you can punch in your every day and it keeps track of all your stats for the whole trip. It's kind of interesting to look back on.
Okay. So we averaged 94. This was over the whole time. So even from the beginning to the end, we averaged 94 miles per week, 15.5 miles per day for 163 days. Our highest mileage day was 27.2. And then you can also keep track of where you sleep. So we slept in a tent 62 times, we were in a shelter 44 times, and we stayed either in a motel or hostel 57 times. The longest we went without a shower was 10 days.
We did.
And that was awful.
We don't advise that.
Again. No.
And we did keep track of Neros and zeros.
Oh, I didn't write those down. Yeah. We did 8, if I remember correctly, we did 8 zeros and 15 Neros.
Something like that, yeah.
So a few more than we thought, but not excessively more than we thought. When we went back and looked at cost.
Yeah, we spent around $11,000, which
is what they
pretty typically average. They figure a $1,000 per person per month. So we were on trail 5.5 months, 2 of us. So we thought we would have spent more than that. We get to the Northeast. I mean, the prices go up in the Northeast. We weren't sure if all of that was because of where we were at, or if some of that was inflation, or maybe probably a combination of both. But
and as far as we can tell, as near as we can tell, we spent about $4,000 on gear.
Yeah, we bought it over a couple of years' time, so we didn't keep real close track. Probably something like that. So each went through 3 pairs of shoes.
I did 4.
Yeah, you started out with the Ultras.
Because I started out with Ultras. Not because I wore them out, but
yeah,
because
you only did 150 miles on them, but yeah.
So.
Somebody asked about how much cash to carry. I don't know. We came out both times. I carried like $400 or $500, but you don't need to do that. I mean,
you want to. I would say at least 100 or even 200
on you, but you can easily. I mean, we take a debit card and a credit card, but we use our debit card mostly, so you can go to Walmart or grocery stores and get cash back, and they won't charge you interest on that or a fee like they do at an ATM. So it's the easiest way to get cash back is at a grocery store. Yeah.
Because you would have shuttle drivers every once in a while, and that was frustrating at times because they didn't tell you. There were several times where hostels we got there, and they were like, "Oh, we only take cash."
But they advertise they take credit card.
And so that was frustrating. But thankfully, we had enough cash.
We did.
Most of the time, or all the time, I guess, to do that.
And they would pull the, well, my credit card machine is broke. Well, I think that was intentional. It was always broke because they wanted to deal in cash. Just say you want to deal in cash.
Yeah.
That's
so
the
people
case.
are prepared, because that is frustrating.
And and those guys would tell you, oh, there's an ATM machine in town. We'll run you into town if you don't have cash. So they're prepared to make that speech. So I think it was intentional.
Yeah.
But I mean, you don't want to walk around with thousands of dollars in cash, obviously. But so it's easy enough to get at grocery stores with a cashback option. And yeah, if you have a couple $100 in cash.
And there are a couple like through the Whites. Where else did we have to pay? New Hampshire, was it? All of New Hampshire? Or maybe it was all of New Hampshire. But you had to pay to stay at the tent sites and shelters, which was $10 a piece.
Yep, it was.
And so you did have to have that.
You needed some cash on you.
To stay at the Birches, we had to pay $10 each.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, the last night as well.
So I would recommend, you do need some cash. I don't think you need...
You don't need to be flush with cash or anything.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty much it. Yeah.
We will probably do a couple videos of harvest.
Somebody asked Sandra to do one
on KineMaster.
On KineMaster, a tutorial if you want to get interested in learning how.
I don't think I'm going to do that. I will direct you to Outdoor Adventures, Frozen. He did an awesome KineMaster YouTube.
He did.
I will put it down in the description so that you can find that. That's the one that I went to, and I don't think I can do anything better than what he did.
Yeah, he did a nice job explaining it. Yeah, I guess that's it gear-wise. Yeah, if you got any questions, throw them in the comments. We'll try and get back with you on them. Yeah, for the most part, we were pretty happy with the gear we chose. Yeah, food bags, we just had the Z-Packs. Food bags as well. Held up well for us, no issues.
No, and we hung ours only once.
Yeah, we slept with our food bags every night but one time.
Yeah.
And that was because we had a day hiker who complained that we were hanging them in the shelter, so we didn't want to be that person that said, no, we're going to sleep with them regardless, so we hung them that night.
And we found the majority of through hikers.
Especially once you get into trailaways, most people just sleep with their bags. Yeah, your biggest concern is mice, not bears. So, anyways, I guess that pretty much wraps it up.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we'll talk to you later.